Good day everyone. So this video is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material.
The objectives of our topic are: what is global governance, effects of globalization on governments, identify the govern international relations and globalism, identify the roles and functions of the United Nations, identify the challenges of global governance in the 21st century, and lastly, explain the relevance of state and amid globalization.
So today we're here with my co-group mates to share with you regarding our topic about contemporary global governance with integration of COVID-19. So first, what is global governance? So global governance is a complex and evolving concept that encompasses the mechanisms, structures, and processes through which nations, international organizations, and various stakeholders engage in a collaborative effort to address and manage global challenges. So, this multifaceted framework involves the development and enforcement of rules, norms, and policies that guide interactions on a global scale. So, in essence of global governance, it serves as a response to the interconnectedness of our world, recognizing that many issues such as climate change, pandemics, human rights violations, and economic disparities so transcend national borders. Also, it involves the creation and maintenance of institutions like the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund, which provide platforms for diplomatic dialogue, coordination of resources, and collective decision making. So, global governance helps in the amidst of a significant global events such as the COVID-19 pandemic. So, global governance becomes particularly evident during this time. So, during such crisis, international organizations like the World Health Organization or WHO play a vital role in coordinating response, sharing crucial information regarding about it, and fostering cooperation among nations to tackle the shared threat. So it takes collaborative initiatives like the COVAX facility, exemplify efforts to ensure equitable access to vaccines globally, showcasing the importance of coordinated action in the face of a common challenge. So, global governance is a dynamic, adapting to emerging issues and shifting geopolitical landscapes. It strives to balance the interests of diverse stakeholders while promoting inclusivity, transparency, and accountability. Ultimately, it seeks to create a framework that encourages nations to work together and addressing complex problems that affect the global community.
Good day, everyone. My topic is explain the effects of globalization on governments. Globalization has multifaceted effects on governments. It can enhance economic growth through increased trade and investment. But it may also pose challenges. Governments may experience reduced control over their economies, face pressure to align policies with global norms, and contend with issues like income inequality and environmental concerns. Additionally, globalization can influence political dynamics, fostering cooperation or creating tensions as nations navigate the complexities of an interconnected world. Globalization thus has powerful economic, political, cultural, and social implications. For sovereignty, globalization has led to a decline in the power of national governments to direct and influence their economies, especially with regard to macroeconomic management and to determine their political structures. Globalization trains governments by inducing increased budgetary pressure. As a consequence, governments shift their expenditures in favor of transfers and subsidies and away from capital expenditures. Increased interdependence globalization has led to increased interdependence between countries, making governments more reliant on one another. This means that countries need to work together more than ever before to solve common problems like climate change, terrorism, and economic instability. Contemporary globalization, coupled with the impact of COVID-19, has reshaped global governance and posed unique challenges for governments. The pandemic highlighted the interdependence of nations, prompting collaborative efforts in areas like vaccine distribution. Simultaneously, it exposed vulnerabilities in global supply chains and intensified debates on health equity. Governments now navigate increased scrutiny regarding crisis management, with the need for coordinated responses across borders. While globalization fosters information sharing, it also reveals disparities in resources and healthcare capabilities among nations. The evolving landscape requires governments to strike a balance between national interests and international cooperation for effective global governance.
Identify the institutions that govern international relations. The institutions that are governed by the international relations are United Nations or UN. The United Nations or UN is an international organization founded in 1945 to promote peace, security, and cooperation among members countries. It consists of various specialized agencies and has a wide range of objectives, including addressing humanitarian issues, promoting human rights, and fostering international development. World Trade Organization or WTO. The World Trade Organization or WTO is an international organization that regulates and facilitates global trades. It provides platforms for member countries to negotiate trade agreements, establish rules for international trades, and resolve disputes related to trade issues. The WTO aims to create a fair and open global trading system, promoting economic development and cooperation among nations. The International Monetary Fund or IMF is an international organization established in 1944 with the goal of fostering global monetary cooperation, ensuring the stability of exchange rate, facilitating the expansion of international trade, promoting balanced economic growth, and providing resources into member countries. A need of financial assistance to address balance of payment problems. The IMF serves as a forum for collaboration on international monetary issues and offering policies advice, financial assistance, and technical expertise of its member nation. The European Union, or EU, is a political and economic union of member states located primarily in Europe. It was established with the aim of fostering economic cooperating and integration among its members to prevent conflict and promote stability. The EU operates a single market, allowing for the free movement of goods, service, capital, and people among its members. Countries, it also has policies in areas such as agriculture, competition, and trade. The EU has involved its initial focus on economic cooperation to encompass broader goals, including the promotion of human rights, democracy, and a shared commitment to peace and prosperity. The African Union, or AU, is a continental organization founded in 2001, comprising 55 member states from across Africa. Its primary objectives include promoting political and economic integration, fostering peace and security, and advancing the socio-economic development of the continent. The AU seeks to enhance cooperation among African nations, address conflict, and promote democratic governance, human rights, and sustainable development across the African continent. In essence, these five institutions entities play key roles in promoting cooperation, addressing global issues, and facilitating diplomatic relations among nations.
The assigned topic is differentiate internationalism and globalism. Internationalism generally refers to cooperation and diplomacy between nations, emphasizing mutual understanding and shared interests. On the other hand, globalism is a broader concept that involves interconnectedness, integration, and interdependence on a global scale, often in economic, cultural, and political contexts. While internationalism focuses on collaboration between nations, globalism encompasses the idea of a more interconnected world with a unified global perspective. Tell us more about internationalism. So, internationalism is a movement which advocates a greater economic and political cooperation among nations for the theoretical benefit of all. It teaches that the people of all nations have more in common than they do differences, and thus that nations should treat each other as unequals. Supporters of internationalism are known as internationalists and generally believe that humans should unite across national, political, cultural, racial, or class boundaries to advance their common interests, or that governments should cooperate because their mutual long-term interests are of greater importance than their short-term interests. Their goal is to unite all the countries and actively oppose nationalism and war. One of the examples is the United Nations. Their missions is to maintain the international peace and security, prevent conflict, helping parties in conflict make peacemaking, and creating the conditions to allow peace to hold and flourish. So, tell us more about globalism. Globalism is an ideology based on the belief that people, goods, and information ought to be able to national borders unfettered. It seeks to describe and explain nothing more than a word, which is characterized by networks of connections that span multi-continental distances. It attempts to understand all the interconnections of the modern world and to highlight patterns that underlie term. One of the examples is economic globalism. It involves long-distance flows of goods, services, and capital, and information, and also perception that company market exchange. Another example is the social and cultural globalism involves movements of ideas, information, images, and of people who of course carry ideas and information with them. So, have you wondered what are their similarities? Well, internationalism and globalism are they both promotes cooperation, increases connectively among different people. Their goal is to overcome borders in both politics and trade. And that's all. Thank you.
This topic is identify the role, function, and the United Nations. Number one example is maintaining international peace and security. So the UN Security Council is responsible for maintaining international peace and security. It identifies threats to peace and recommended or takes action, including the use, sanction, or peacekeeping operation to address conflicts and prevent violence. And number two roles is peacekeeping operation. The UN deploys peacekeeping mission to regions affected by conflict or instability. This mission help facilitate peace agreements, protect civilians, disarm combatants, and support the rebuilding of national institutions. And number three roles is promoting human rights. The UN works to promote and protect human rights worldwide. It has established various mechanisms and bodies such as the Human Rights Council of the High Commissioner for the Human Rights to monitor human rights violation, provide assistance to victims, and advocate to the enforcement of international human rights standards. And number 4 roles, providing humanitarian assistance. The UN coordinates humanitarian assistance and relief efforts. It is response to natural disaster, conflicts, and other emergencies. Agencies is the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, World Food Program, WFP, and UNICEF provide food, shelter, medical care, and other essential service to affected population. At number 5, promoting sustainable development. The UN promotes sustainable development through initiatives like Sustainable Development Goals (SDG), which aim to address to global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation. The UN support countries in implementing policies and programs to achieve these goals. And number 6 is arbitration disputes and mediation. The UN provides a forum for countries to resolve disputes peacefully through negotiation, mediation, arbitration, and other diplomatic means. The Secretary General and other UN diplomats play crucial roles in facilitating dialogue and finding mutually acceptable solutions to conflicts. And number 7 role is advancing international law. The UN works to develop and uphold international law, including treaties, conventions, and agreements to regulate various aspects of international regulation, such as human rights, disarmament, trade, and the environment. And number 8 role is promoting gender equality. The UN advocates for gender equality and women's empowerment worldwide. It supports initiatives to eliminate discrimination, violence, and barriers to women participation in political, economic, and social spheres.
And my topic is all about to identify the challenges of global governance in 21st century. The global governance faces several challenges in 21st century, reflecting the complex and interconnected nature of today's world. Some of these challenges include: first, power imbalance. The existing international system is characterized by the power imbalance among the nations. Powerful countries often dominate decision-making process, leading to unequal representation of the lack of exclusivity. The second is the nationalism and protectionism. The rest of the nationalist sentiments in various parts of the world can hinder cooperation and compromise in global governance. Protectionism policies and the focus on the national interests may undermine collective efforts to address global challenges. Third, lack of effective institutions. The current international institutions such as United Nations, World Bank, and International Monetary Fund were established in the aftermath of World War II. Some argue that this institution may not be adequately equipped to address contemporary issues and reflect the current global power dynamics. Next is global economic disparities. Economic inequalities among the nations contribute to challenges in global governance. Disparities in wealth and development can lead to tension and hinder collaborative efforts to address issues such as poverty, climate change, and health crisis. Next is climate change. Climate change is a global challenge that requires coordinated efforts. However, disagreements over the responsibility for addressing climate change, as well as a different economic interests, pose obstacle of effective global governance of environmental issues. Next is cybersecurity threats. The digital age has introduced a new challenge in the form of cybersecurity threats. The lack of comprehensive and universal accepted framework for governing cyberspace creates difficulties in addressing cybercrime, espionage, and other digital challenges. Next is global health crisis. COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the need of the coordinated and swift global response to health emergencies. However, the lack of a unified approach and the uneven distribution of resources have impeded an effective global response. Next is migration and displacement. Increasing the number of refugees and migrants present challenges for global governance. The lack of comprehensive and coordinated approach to address the root causes of migration and manage its consequences can lead to tension among the nations. Next is technological advancement. The rapid technological advancement, including artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and autonomous weapons, raise ethical and regulatory questions that may outpace the development of effective global governance mechanisms. Last is human rights violations. Persistent human rights abuse and violation pose a challenge to global governance. Inconsistency in addressing such as issues that the lack of enforcement mechanism can undermine effort to promote the protect human rights worldwide.
Good day everyone. I am the last but not the least of Group 4. So I am Engine Cadet RG Sabolo. So my topic is explain the relevance of the state amid globalization. In the context of globalization, the state remains relevant as it plays a crucial role in shaping and influencing international, economic, political, and social dynamics. While globalization involves increased interconnectedness and interdependence among nations, states continue to be central actors in managing these processes. Government regulate trade, enact policies, negotiate treaties, and maintain geopolitical stability, impacting how globalization unfold within the borders. The state's ability to adapt to global challenges, foster economic growth, and address social issues remains pivotal in navigating the complexities of a globalized world. The role of the nation state in a global world is largely regulatory, one as a chief factor in a global interdependence. While domestic role of the nation state remains largely unchanged. So states that were previously isolated are now forced to engage with one another to set international commerce policies. So, what is the relevance of the state and amid globalization and in the contemporary world? In the contemporary world, amid globalization, the state remains relevant as a crucial actor in regulating economic activities, safeguarding national interest, and addressing societal challenges. States play a pivotal role, like what I've said on the top. States plays a pivotal role in shaping policies related to trade, investment, and technology, influencing how their economies integrate into the global system. Additionally, we manage issues like migration, security, and environmental concerns that transcend borders. While globalization promotes interconnectedness, the state's role is essential. The state's role of essential in ensuring a balance between global cooperation and safeguarding in the well-being of its citizens. So, the state focus on a crucial role in shaping and influencing international economic, political, and social dynamics. And while the globalization is more focused on interconnectedness and interdependence among the nations. So that's all. Thank you.